Well, I'm not an expert. I'm not an authority. I'm someone who has been a murderer for almost 20 years.
Can you say how many people might be doing crimes like you were doing?
It would be a guess, but it's not. It's far more than 35.
Some killers are terrifying not just because of what they do, but because of how intelligent and calculated they are. One of the most infamous examples is Edmund Kemper, also known as the co-ed butcher. Standing over 6 feet 9 inches tall, charming, calm, and exceptionally intelligent. Kemper's crimes shocked California in the 1970s. He wasn't impulsive, he was strategic. He didn't fit the stereotype of a killer. He blended in, earned trust, and hid behind politeness.
You were able to appear like an ordinary person, non-threatening to...
I lived as an ordinary person most of my life, even though I was living.
Today we'll explore his story, the disturbing facts, and the psychological patterns that made him one of the most notorious serial killers in American history. A man who could speak calmly to police officers while hiding the darkest secrets imaginable. Early life and warning signs. Edmund Emil Kemper III was born in 1948 in California, into a family already struggling with tension and emotional instability. His parents' marriage was troubled, and he often found himself caught in the middle of their arguments. His father later described life with Kemper's mother as worse than being in war, a statement that hints at the atmosphere Edmund grew up in. From a young age, he displayed disturbing behavior, an obsession with death, often acting out scenarios with his toys, cruelty to animals, harming pets, and using this as a way to release anger. Social isolation, preferring dark fantasies over human friendship. He was a highly intelligent child, but emotionally detached, introverted, and already harboring violent thoughts. His relationship with his mother, Clarnell, was strained and controlling. She belittled him, insulted him, and often locked him in a dark basement as punishment. Psychologists later suggested this dynamic contributed significantly to the anger and resentment that shaped his violent tendencies. By the age of 15, Kemper committed a shocking act. He murdered his grandparents, claiming he wanted to see what it felt like.
I lived as an ordinary person most of my life, even though I was living a parallel and increasingly sick life, other life. One victim let me back in the car. I locked myself out. She opened the door for me.
This early crime was more than a tragedy. It was a clear warning sign of the darkness to come. Release and return to crime. After the murder of his grandparents, Kemper was sent to Atascadero State Hospital, where psychiatrists surprisingly found him cooperative, polite, and intelligent. He became so trusted that he helped administer psychological tests to other patients, giving him insight into how to appear normal. At age 21, he was released, deemed rehabilitated. To the outside world, Kemper seemed like a young man trying to rebuild his life. He enrolled in community college. He tried to join the police force but was rejected because of his size. He made friends with local officers, often hanging out with them at bars. He maintained casual jobs and appeared socially active. No one suspected the violent urges growing silently inside him. But returning to his mother's home, where the emotional abuse continued, awakened old anger. By 1972, he began targeting young female students in Santa Cruz, California, picking up hitchhiking college women. This pattern gave him the nickname the co-ed butcher.
The next court date for Kemper is May 21st. He's scheduled to enter a plea at that time. Pat O'Brien, Eyewitness News, Santa Cruz.
Modus operandi. Kemper's methods were chillingly calculated. He used his size and charm to appear non-threatening. He modified his car so victims couldn't escape, removing door handles and creating a controlled environment the moment they stepped inside. He picked up hitchhikers, young women, often students at nearby universities. He gained their trust through friendly conversation. Once isolated, he attacked them with overwhelming strength. He transported the bodies back to his home, where he carried out disturbing post-mortem rituals. Kemper kept certain body parts as trophies, objects he used to relive the crime. These acts were driven by obsession, power, and a deep psychological fixation, shaped by years of resentment toward women. Unlike many killers, he was not sloppy or frantic. He remained calm, organized, and methodical, traits that made him difficult to catch.
He never would have been able to have acted out any of this fantasy if it were not for the fact that there were so many attractive, naive girls hitchhiking in the Bay Area and in this county.
The next court date for Kemper is May 20.
Relationship with his mother. One of the most disturbing elements of Kemper's life was his toxic relationship with his mother. Psychologists analyzing his case point to this dynamic as a major trigger in his later murders. To Kemper, his victims became symbolic representations of his mother, stand-ins for the person he believed controlled and humiliated him his entire life. The psychological link between his mother and his crimes became undeniable. Capture and confession. Kemper's killing spree came to an end in 1973 after he committed his most personal murders, those of his mother and her close friend. After a lifetime of abuse, the crime scene was brutal beyond words, revealing years of repressed rage. And then, in a twist that stunned investigators, Kemper did something almost unheard of for serial killers. He called the police. He confessed everything in detail, every crime, every motive, every step.
He apparently, according to what he says, fantasized about doing this for quite a long period of time, and
his intelligence made him a rare case. He understood his crimes, but claimed he couldn't stop himself. Investigators linked him definitively to 10 murders, though some experts believe the actual number could be higher. Trial and imprisonment. Kemper's trial in 1973 revealed a man who was articulate, calm, and disturbingly self-aware. He didn't try to hide his crimes or shift blame. He simply stated the facts, describing his actions with clarity that made the courtroom uneasy.
One victim let me back in the car. I locked myself out. She opened the door for me. My gun was under the seat. What in the hell am I doing telling you that? Am I a masochist? Am I looking to be tormented further? I'm trying to show you just how...
Psychologists diagnosed him as a highly intelligent psychopath. He was sentenced to life imprisonment without parole. Even today, Kemper remains one of the most studied serial killers in criminal psychology. His intelligence, IQ around 145, his ability to manipulate professionals, his precise methods, his rare willingness to explain his motives. Students, criminologists, and professionals continue to analyze his interviews, which reveal unsettling insights into the mind of a calculating killer. Lessons from the case. Edmund Kemper's story is disturbing for multiple reasons. His intelligence allowed him to blend in, earning trust from both civilians and law enforcement. If this story left you shaken or curious about the darkest corners of human behavior, subscribe and turn on notifications. We dive deep into the minds of criminals, explore the mysteries behind their actions, and uncover the chilling truths that history often hides. Stay with us, because the next story might change the way you see the world. Thank you for tuning in. If you enjoyed the content, please hit the like button and subscribe to stay updated with our latest videos on YouTube.